Do you think you're the devil himself?
No, but I do have a good mirror.
It's a serious question.
Sorry.
Do you think you're the devil himself?
I don't know. Why would you say that?
Because you have all the attributes. You're incredibly smart. You remember the devil is somebody
devil's
knows
what?
the devil's brilliant.
No, the devil scares me.
This is me. This was me.
This is me
When I met Jeffrey Epstein.
This is me when I met Jeffrey Epstein.
I was 14 years old.
I was 16 years old.
I was 16.
17.
14 years old. I suffered so much pain.
So much pain.
So much pain.
Millions of pages, thousands of videos, tens of thousands of photos, and some of the most powerful people on the planet, connected to a single man who somehow avoided real consequences for decades. This is what's actually confirmed, what's still just rumor, and what's flatly false in the Epstein files, laid out as clearly as I can manage. Jeffrey Epstein came from an unremarkable middle-class background in New York and never finished college. And yet somehow, he landed a teaching position at an elite prep school, one that put him in direct contact with some of the wealthiest and most influential families in the city. Through that access, he built a relationship with a senior banking executive who brought him into a major investment bank as a trader, despite having zero financial background or experience. He rose to partner within 4 years, something that normally takes decades, if it happens at all. A decade later, he used that money and those connections to launch his own firm, one built specifically to help billionaires manage their wealth. It's worth pointing out, a lot of people believe he was already running some version of his operation well before any of this became public, and that it may be part of how he climbed so fast in the first place. That's a theory, not a confirmed fact, but it's a widely held one. From there, he got extremely wealthy, extremely fast, buying a private jet, a yacht, and eventually an island in the Virgin Islands called Little St. James. On paper, at that point, it looks like an extraordinary success story. It wasn't. Starting in the early 2000s, multiple young women, some of them minors, came forward describing being recruited, often from lower income areas of Miami and New York, under the promise of well-paying work. Once involved, they described a highly organized operation, run alongside his associate Ghislaine Maxwell, including a recruitment structure where girls could be compensated for bringing in others. Around 40 different accounts, some involving girls as young as 14, told strikingly similar stories. And despite that, almost nothing happened until 2005, when an investigation finally opened. In 2008, after a widely criticized investigation, Epstein was convicted, but the sentence was 13 months, and even that was served under a work release arrangement that let him leave during the day. 13 months for that scale of abuse. After his release, the pattern didn't stop. It expanded, with reported complaints climbing from dozens into the hundreds over the next decade, mostly settled quietly, largely out of public view. Things stayed relatively contained until 2018, when a major investigative piece detailed the true scale of the operation, and crucially, how consistently the justice system had gone easy on him. That reporting reignited public pressure, which triggered a new investigation and led to his arrest in July 2019. When the FBI searched his properties, they seized millions of documents, messages, emails, photos, and videos. A month later, in August 2019, Epstein was found dead in his cell. That death is where a huge amount of the ongoing theories start. Specifically, the belief, widely circulated but never proven, that he didn't act alone. What is certain is that his death forced all the seized material into evidence, sealed as part of an active investigation, creating a direct conflict between legal procedure and enormous public demand for transparency, especially given how many of the people connected to these documents are still prominent public figures today. That demand became a major political flashpoint. Promises were made publicly to release the files immediately, once certain officials took office. And then, those same promises were largely walked back once they actually held that power. Eventually, legislative pressure forced a release date, and this past January, a first batch of documents became public. Thousands of pages, thousands of videos, tens of thousands of photos, all searchable through the Justice Department's own website by anyone over 18. Here's where it got messier rather than clearer. The redactions in these documents were supposed to protect victims' identities. Instead, plenty of victims' names and images were left visible, while in several cases, it was the names of suspects that were blacked out. That mismatch alone reignited suspicion that the transparency being offered wasn't actually complete. Now, in terms of what's actually confirmed, Epstein ran organized events where young women, some very young, were present specifically to interact with guests, documented through emails, records, and even detailed logs tracking recruitment and activity. Investigators have also confirmed that Epstein and his associates used coded language, food references, in written communication to arrange these interactions. As for names that surface in these documents, former Prince Andrew, now referred to without his royal title, appears repeatedly. Donald Trump is the most frequently mentioned name in the released material, with thousands of references, though appearing in documents isn't the same as being implicated in wrongdoing, and he denies any involvement in Epstein's crimes. Bill Clinton, Elon Musk, Richard Branson, and Bill Gates all appear in various capacities as well, each with their own account of the relationship, and each publicly denying involvement in the abuse itself. It's worth being precise here. Appearing in an email exchange with someone is not proof of a crime. Business dealings with him continued for years, even after his 2008 conviction, which is its own separate, damning fact, but distinct from actual involvement in what he did to his victims. Then there's everything that isn't confirmed. Claims about people disappearing on his island circulate constantly, but remain unverified. A rumor about a disturbing bidding process tied to victims has spread widely online, but there's no credible evidence behind it, and I'm not going to repeat the details because it doesn't need repeating to understand how serious the underlying case already is. Theories that Epstein was some kind of intelligence asset remain unconfirmed as well, fueled mostly by the fact that he traveled under multiple passports. And then you get into the genuinely fabricated stuff. Cannibalism claims built entirely around a piece of vegan advocacy art and a horror movie prop, misread completely out of context and spread as if they were real evidence. None of that is real, and it's worth saying clearly. The actual confirmed facts of this case are disturbing enough without inventing more. What makes this story genuinely significant isn't any single theory, confirmed or not. It's the fact that for decades, wealth and status appear to have functioned as a shield, first from real consequences, and now, potentially, from full transparency. Whatever comes out next, that's the part of this story that isn't up for debate.